Okay, thank you. So, sorry about that, everybody, and thanks for all your tips privately about how I can get Zoom to work. If any of you have watched any of the previous sessions, particularly at the beginning of lockdown, you'll see that Zoom was a baptism of fire for Daniel and I to get engagement with our community worldwide, and I've still not got the hang of it, to be honest. So I just wanted, as I said, to give you a warm global welcome, and really we want to kind of keep our promise to you in terms of continuing our support for you all, and really understanding from your perspective how we can continue to support you as we start to come out of lockdown. So what I would like to do is just talk you through, and Daniel, I know I'm going to be annoying, but if you can flick through the slides for me while I'm talking, because basically, as I mentioned earlier, we have responded to lockdown and the fact that trainers and coaches haven't been able to deliver face-to-face courses or sessions by delivering virtual sessions, and trying to support and provide as much advice and information as we can from our great community about how you can become an online great facilitator or trainer in many different ways. And we've covered all sorts of subjects: technology platforms, resilience, your brand, all sorts of things. But we're now moving into a slightly new phase, and the CPD Standards Office is now pioneering an initiative called Get Face-to-Face Ready. And what we're doing is providing and garnering as much support and interest as we can from our subscribers and our members about how we can get the training and coaching industries back in business. So Daniel, if you don't mind just flicking the slide for me now. But I just wanted to give you a little whistle-stop tour about our organisation, just for those of you that haven't come across it before. So the CPD Standards Office is part of a global now organisation that we founded nearly a decade ago. We do two key different things. We offer independent accreditation services for trainers and coaches and speakers, which verifies activities as being appropriate for regulated CPD industries. And we also offer a training excellence accreditation and a coaching excellence accreditation for anybody that doesn't deliver in those regulated environments. Our organisation was founded on the basis of industrial and business psychology. That's my background. I'm a trained occupational psychologist. And we really didn't think that the CPD Standards Office would be the monster, if you like, that it's come today. We now have over 1,000 accredited providers, and when we first started we thought it would be something that we did on a part-time basis, but we were very much in partnership, and if you could just flick to the next slide, with lots and lots of professional bodies, regulators, and all sorts of things. And so we were the first to run a research project about what CPD is and what training really is in organisations and how lifelong learning is perceived. And we ran the project in the UK and also in China, and we've got some really interesting results. So moving on to the next slide now, what we looked at, and the reason that it captured so many different people's attention, was because my particular passion is how can we give exceptional education and skills to anybody, anywhere in the globe, anywhere in the world, that is suitable for them and is regardless of their background, their age, their stage, their socio-economic status, their religion, etc., etc. So we did this big study, and we found all of these results, and they were very, very interesting because we looked at individual perceptions and really challenged some of the assumptions behind it. And what we've ended up forming is a global CPDSO community that is packed full of great trainers, communicators and presenters, including Philip that we've had today, and championing what they do and why they do it. So Daniel, if you could just flick to the next slide. I'm sorry everybody, but my presentation skills on Zoom are still not great. So what we have always found with our community is that they face, or you all face, sorry, the same challenges, particularly for people that run what we would call, I don't mean it in a derogatory way, one-man band training and coaching businesses where you're effectively selling your time, or smaller SME training, coaching and educational organisations. Because the training and coaching industries are very, very busy and highly competitive. And it's very difficult to give yourself that visibility and that differentiation. And particularly if you're flying the flag for CPD, then, you know, getting everybody to really understand what that means. And if any of you aren't familiar with CPD or CPD accreditation, just visit our website and download our 3-minute guide. There's absolutely no compunction to buy any accreditation at all. It's just a resource that we offer free of charge. So moving on to the next slide, and what we have always seen, and the advice that we have always given our businesses that we accredit and that we're proud to represent because they've met our assessment criteria, is use your own story, use your own USP. Every individual on this planet has their own story, and trainers and coaches are, as far as I'm concerned, and I think I have the best job in the world, is they're always people that have seen a way to just do something slightly differently. And they've come out of a profession, or they've used their experience to create a learning experience for other people on their methodology or their expertise. And so it doesn't matter if you're in what appears to be in a competitive industry. If you tell that story and you get your brand right, you can utilize your accreditations to show that you've had a third party benchmark to show that, you know, your training is kind of worth its salt. And that will help you to fly a successful marketing flag and organically and proactively grow and develop your business. So just the next slide, Daniel. But what we are focusing on doing now is looking at the Corona challenge that 2020 has given us and really understanding, okay, what can we do? It's been, as everybody says, an unprecedented time. And just flicking through the next couple of slides quickly, Daniel, because I know we're you know, hot on time at the moment. Over the last couple of months, we have seen images that not just psychologists like me have found, you know, unprecedented. None of us expected to be social distancing ever, let alone back in January. Somebody told us back in January this would be happening. We wouldn't have believed it. And we wouldn't have believed that the doors would shut and collapse every single training course, coaching session, conference or seminar that was being held on a one-to-one basis. And so it's been really tough for everybody. And as Philip says, we've all been in the same boat. It's been wonderful in some ways that we've shared time with family that we weren't expecting. But for those people living on their own and in complete self-isolation, I think the next slide, Daniel, sort of depicts some of what we've been going through. It's very much felt like a prison. And also remote working all day long and being on things like Zoom and constantly doing conference calls is very draining. And it's also very difficult, as Philip's just outlined, to really get a strong human interaction going and not to feel alone. So we've been looking at these images and we've been thinking about the government guidance, and what we need to do now is to start thinking about how we're going to come out of this. And so Daniel, if you could just flick a couple of slides forward, what we want to do and what we are doing is organising, spearheading, and will provide guidance over the next few weeks about becoming face-to-face ready. We know that the opening of the doors to training, coaching and education businesses is absolutely critical. We are facing one of the biggest challenges to our economy, and in fact the global economies of all countries that are affected severely by coronavirus. And in order for our workforce and all the employers out there to stay agile, to stay competitive, and to still be able to run the payroll and hold the number of colleagues that they have without making schools redundant, we need an educated, up-to-date, skills-focused workforce. And so there has never been a greater need for training and coaching, never ever. So there is huge opportunity now for all training organisations, every single coach, speaker, educator, online delivery, everybody has got an opportunity. And it's been wonderful to see over the last couple of months on our webinars, this ethos and different change towards collaboration between different providers, as opposed to just sheer competition, which is what we've normally experienced, which is okay because it is, as I said, a competitive industry. But we are now working with governments. We have articles in the press. This is one down here that Milgens, that I've recently become a columnist for. That's a new website or newish news website, particularly for millennials and entrepreneurs, about getting you face-to-face ready. We completely understand that we need to do this safely. We need to do it in line with social distancing and the government guidelines. And that is a moving playing field at the moment. Only yesterday, the Chancellor delivered the budget, and we now find that we can go to restaurants funded next week from Monday to Wednesdays going forwards. Last week, the hairdressers opened and the pubs. The week previous, different clinics were allowed to open up under the NHS trust system. And so the world is slowly turning back to a face-to-face environment. We don't know if this is going to last because there may well be a second wave. But what we are doing, and I would very much urge you to visit our news URL that I've got there in the slide, is to get involved with our face-to-face initiative. We are involved in several lobbying and all-party political groups for skills and education with the government and within Parliament. And so we do have a national project that we will be launching over the coming months. And we will be providing guidelines for those of you that are maybe nervous to go back on the front line and deliver in a safe environment, or perhaps are concerned about sending colleagues and associates and, you know, however your coaching or training business works out there, and making sure that you're training in appropriate environments with the correct digital accountabilities. You're using the social distancing, appropriate PPE, if that's you know, an important area. And so this is an area that we're going to be spearheading and is already in action. So there will be further information about it on the coming webinars over the next few weeks. And there's my email address there in the article for anybody to email me who'd like to get involved directly. At the moment, we're currently running it in partnership with one of our fabulous CPD accredited providers, Mobile Team Challenge, who have lots of experience of running face-to-face events for all sorts of different industries, and very, very prevalent in NHS, prisons, and corporate businesses. So this is kind of my message to you, to say that the support isn't over. Now we are potentially coming out of lockdown. First of all, for our members and subscribers, we'll still keep these 2 o'clock Thursday sessions going because they have been so enormously popular. But what we are also going to do, and what I am personally determined to do, is to get the doors back open for training businesses. I was devastated when the 23rd of March happened, not just for myself and for our own organisation, but for all of the training and educational businesses that I know and love and have worked with for years, to know that everything was being cancelled and it was all going down like a set of dominoes. So I know that for many of you, it's crucial for your livelihoods to get back into business. But I also can see a great need for our industries to be able to support extreme youth unemployment, potential recession, and effectively keeping us agile and competitive on the global stage. So there'll be lots of more information in the coming weeks. But if you want anything specifically, or you'd like to become more involved, then please do drop me an email. So I'm going to hand back to Daniel now. Apologies about my Zoom use and slides, I'm just terrible at it. But we will keep you posted, and we will see you back in business, training people in a face-to-face manner, in whatever shape or size that looks like, over the coming months. And we will be there with you as it moves from 1 metre to maybe ½ metre, or if it has to go back to 2 or 3 metres because of the second wave. Who knows what's going to happen, but we are going to be right by your sides and giving you as much guidance and information as we possibly can. So back to Daniel, and also thank you again, Philip, for a very interesting session.
Thank you so much for that, Amanda. Philip, do we still have you there with us? If you're still there, just you can pop on your camera for me. Would be great. So thank you everyone for staying with us to the end of the session. It's much appreciated. So like I said, please do take advantage of these 2 pieces of content that I'm about to put into the chat right now. So you've got there, you have the blog post that I was speaking about how to dress for video conferencing. And you also have the YouTube channel on which we put all of our webinars. So there's a load of resources there for you guys to check out. This one will also be joining that next week. We'll send it out to all of you in the email as promised, along with the slides as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I want to say a big, massive thank you to Philip for joining and presenting today. It was much appreciated. And I think everyone really did take something away from it. So thank you, Philip. Did you have anything that you wanted to say, Philip, before we leave?
Just again, thank you both and to the CPD Standards Office for such a great opportunity. I know that everything you've just shared with Amanda, you put your money where your mouth is, you support right through all thick and thin. And we all just need to stick together. And I think we all need to just continue adopting that what can I do for you attitude, how can I help you, how can I support you? And I really want to advocate that more so now than ever before. Coaching, training, and all those sort of areas that we can help other people in lives. You can make a difference. Take your knowledge, take your experience, and help other people.
Thank you, Philip. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I've just put the article about getting face-to-face ready on our news site into the chat. So that's all from me this week. We'll be back again next week with probably one of the topics that you've identified today as being a hot topic, or one of the ones that has been in the previous week polls. And I'll hand you back to Daniel now. Thank you ever so much.
Daniel, just quickly, just for those who are interested, we are running, we like the CPD Standards Office, we run webinars. So again, connect with us, have a look at our website, thebritishschoolofetiquette.com. And if we can help you in any way, we would love to. And you do get accredited with CPD accreditation, that's for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, obviously, so yes, we will be naturally sharing that link in the post webinar email that we send out. So there will be a link to Philip's organization in that email that we send out post. I just want to say thank you everyone for staying with us, and I will be back next week again with another Thursday weekly webinar with CPDSO. So I look forward to seeing you guys again then. See you then. Have a great afternoon.
Bye. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.